This week on Twende, we are going to Emakati.
You could say that these flamingos like their food seasoned due to Magadi.
This is a Trona,
Yeah.
crystals.
Yeah.
So you can test it.
We find out how to make soda ash.
And we visit Kajiado's secret lake that you may probably have never heard of, Naisikie Eng'ida. Last week we were in Olor Gesaile, and today we are moving down the C58 towards Magadi. This road used to be a private road built by the Magadi Soda Company from the Bomas Junction to Magadi town. It would be later handed over to the national government for maintenance. Some parts are bad, but as you get near Magadi, it has good section. However, even this part of Kajiado has not escaped the scourge of the Madenge weed. We get to Magadi town. It is a private township run by the Tata Chemicals Magadi Company. Magadi is famous for the lake that goes by the very same name. This is one lake that you can drive on. Can you imagine that? To get to the other parts of Kajiado, vehicles drive on the loose surface roads that cut across the lake. It is an alkaline lake that is home to many birds.
It's quite remarkable because hii picha flamingos iko pale mid ground hapa, foreground ni tudush tingine hapa, alafu huko nyuma background huko ni the plains. And there's something very unique this time of the year, juu kumenyesha, and it is much greener. So the colors are very vibrant. We have pink, you have green, you have brown, you have this silver-like element because probably a reflection of the sky, silver blue. It's very calming to be in a space like this that makes you feel small but also significant. We've been saying that a lot of times. Oh, and I've also been made aware that there are these springs that are coming from up here that are feeding the lake. Kiona imagine teremka. Nature is very detailed. If you just take your time to pay attention, you see a lot of magic.
And that magic is right there before my feet. One of the sources bubbles right next to me. The lake is fed by numerous springs that emerge from the ground.
Now, I know there are those migratory patterns for flamingos, but you could say that these flamingos like their food seasoned due to Magadi kwa chumvi. Also hapa ukipigana itakuwa double assault. Naget, itakuwa assault plus assault. Na huku matusi ndio inashika kabisa. Yani more than anywhere else in this country. Because hapa kweli itakuwa in salt.
This lake that extends for 40 kilometers is unlike any other in the country and in the region. The water in the lake is not clear, and when viewed from above, it looks like a giant mirror.
That's the major means of transport. Unajua ukiwa kwa boda unaweza ona vitu mob. I wonder whether they appreciate the beauty as they pass here ama ni kitu kawaida kwao. Kwa sababu for me mtu anaishi huko Nairobi, this is spectacular.
So where does the name Magadi come from?
I want to ask the origin of the name Magadi. What does it mean?
The name Magadi is Maasai,
Yeah.
which comes from the word emakat.
Emakat.
And emakat is a Trona crystal.
Yeah.
So when it's in plural,
Yeah.
it's called Makati,
Makati.
which is now what is referred to as Magadi by the non-locals.
Yeah.
The lake is unique and is unlike any other in Kenya. It can look like an alien world with strange looking waters. Hapa ukitaka kushoot movie ya Alien Planet, hata hautahitaji kuongeza CGI.
Hii ni ile kitu inaitwa Magadi.
Yeah.
Trona.
Trona. Also, now this is the Trona.
This is a Trona.
Yeah.
Crystals.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
the Maasai name for this is Emakat.
Emakat.
But now when there are many, is Makati.
Oh, hence the name.
Hence the name
Magadi.
Magadi.
Oh.
For the
So if I want to sound like proper,
yes,
nitasema Makati.
Emakat.
Emakat.
Yes.
Oh, sama Masai akisikia nimesema Emakat.
Makat, unajua mahali huko.
Nyama anapewa.
Huko nyama unapewa.
Why is Trona found here?
It's because of this lake. It's the lowest part of the Kenyan Rift Valley.
Lowest.
What
is how low
it's
is
600 meters above sea level.
Oh, okay.
Okay, just to give you perspective,
Yeah.
Nairobi and upward there is about 1,700.
Wow.
So when you're coming from Nairobi, you're coming a kilometer down.
So Nairobi ni Highlands.
Nairobi ni Highlands.
Okay.
So,
yeah.
because it's a pan basically that collects water,
Yeah.
and you have geological activities underground,
Yeah.
and then there are rivers.
Yes.
And because of the volcanic soil,
Yeah.
and has salts,
Yeah.
like sodium salts mainly.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
the underground rivers, in fact, they are hot springs on the southern part of the lake.
Yeah.
So these ones dissolve
Yeah.
the salts
Yeah.
or the sodium carbonate
Yeah.
from the rocks. Okay?
Yeah.
And then because this is the lowest part where the water collects.
Yeah.
And then once it collects here,
Yeah.
then because this area is also hot,
Yeah.
then there is a lot of
Yeah.
evaporation.
Yeah.
There is a lot of evaporation
because
right now it's a bit cool. But normally temperatures could go up to about 42 degrees C.
Emakat is very famous
Emakat
for the heat.
Exactly.
So basically hapa ni kama crucible.
Yes.
So na hiyo joto sasa ndio saa Trona ina.
Yes, ndio hiyo sasa Trona ina form. Then unapata kwa lake because normally you don't have water, but you have water within the crystals.
Yeah.
So you have something like actually this is the actual one.
Yeah.
This is the Trona.
Yeah.
The actual Trona. So you can see the crystals.
Yes.
So this is the Makati. This is Makat. You can taste it. Very nice. It's actually used for chewing tobacco.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So you can taste it.
This naturally occurring Trona is a great asset that is processed for export.
Yeah.
So this is now what is mined from the lake. This is what is mined from the lake, which then is converted, is washed and processed to become soda ash, which is used to manufacture glass. You can see the crystal almost looks like glass. Yeah, so this is where it comes from.
The process of turning Trona into soda ash is done at this factory besides the lake.
Can it be depleted?
Luckily, no. Okay. Luckily, no, because it self-regenerates. So after mining an area for a while, about 10 years or so, it starts regenerating. So then you get the Trona again growing.
Yeah.
Because again of the volcanic activity.
However,
if not well taken care of the surrounding environment, if it's not taken care of, then you run the risk of stopping that process of regeneration. And that's why the whole of this land needs to be left sort of untouched, you can only use for livestock keeping. You can use.
Got it.
Yes,
Yes.
not a lot of activities.
Oh, so
going
that
on.
now this process is not interfering.
Exactly. No, in Kenya we are the only manufacturers of soda ash.
Oh, in Kenya?
In Kenya.
Okay.
We are the only and the largest in Africa.
The largest in Africa?
The largest in Africa.
Umesikia hiyo? We are the largest in Africa.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. We are number one in Africa.
Okay.
So it's something we should be proud of as a country.
And also protect.
And also protect. Otherwise it can easily then disappear.
Sasa si tumeongea mob, si saa mnataka kuona vile soda ash is processed? Haya basi twende. Hapo huwezi ingia tu hivi hivi kimalamala, lazima you take care of your safety.
I am back. Cheza na mimi hapa.
Always wear the appropriate personal protective gear when within the premises.
This massive factory has been in operation since 1911. That is more than a century of existence.
Our soda ash we usually transport to Mombasa for export.
Yeah.
That's why you have a railway line. So this railway line will take our products to Kajiado, then from Kajiado to Konza, then Mombasa, the old railway line, not the new one.
Kwa chat, it is an easy process. The brine is dredged from the lake, then processed in the factory, and it comes out as soda ash on the other side. Simple. But as they say, kwa ground vitu ni? The Trona is mined by this dredger, which is in the middle of the lake, and pumped to the factory dissolved in water. In some other parts of the world, mining of Trona is done deep underground, but in Magadi it occurs naturally close to the surface. The Trona is pumped to the factory. This wheel crushes it into smaller bits. It then is separated from the water, washed with clean water. The water is pumped back into the lake, and we are left with the Trona, which is now called CRS.
Now this one, we were talking about CRS, which is the crushed refined soda. After the Trona is removed from dredge, crushed, mixed with liquor, it is pumped to the washery. We have a dewatering wheel. We receive it, we take it to the starter tank. There we do the washing to remove the impurities, the chlorides, the insolubles. Then whatever we get is now the CRS.
This is now the CRS.
CRS, which is the crushed refined
Soda.
Yeah. This is now what we feed to the kiln.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we take
So,
it with the
sasa hii ni
elevators.
kubeba na beba.
Yeah, now this one
Yeah.
is like a stockyard.
Oh,
When we don't want to feed it direct,
yeah.
we drop it here.
Kutoka hapa, tunaenda upstairs.
Yeah.
This is the way feeder. See the belt.
Yeah. In your CRS.
Yes, so the CRS is being fed into the kiln.
You know, we were having a conversation just now.
Yes.
This plant, this is the original one.
Yeah, this is the original one.
That is which year?
1911.
1911 na bado inasimama.
Up to now. Yes.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are not too many things in 1911 that still stand.
There are.
Yeah, there are not too
But there
many.
are not very many. Now,
Do you take pride in the fact that this has been those many years and now it's still standing and now you're here?
yeah, we do.
Yeah?
We do. Like me, I've been here for 28 years.
28 years?
Yes.
Wow.
And I'm very proud of it.
Yes, you
Yeah,
are.
because I've seen many changes happen.
Yeah.
But this one is still feeding
It's
us.
still, yeah.
Yes.
That's 1997.
Yes.
To keep a factory like this running for over a century, it needs good maintenance. It is good to see that the job is now done by Kenyans. The next process involves these giant rotating tubes.
I can feel the temperatures here are quite hot. Usishike tu kitu ovyo ovyo, unaweza chomeka.
Use heavy furnace oil.
Heavy furnace oil.
Yeah. Then heavy furnace oil,
Yeah.
we have to pass it through electric heater
Okay.
to heat the temperature between 100 and 110.
Degree centigrade.
Yes.
The Trona is subjected to heat. From here it is shaken, lakini hapa wanatumia uteo nyingine wazimu.
Say hello to my little friend.
The finished product is then packed in 50 kg sacks ready for export.
Then we run the sacks, loaded sacks, through the loading conveyor. Yeah, there is a serial printer here. It normally prints when the bag is parting. There it is taken to into the covered wagon where we have these guys. They stack them into the.
How many can fit in this?
37 series can take up to 820 bags.
This process happens 24 hours, 365 days a year, and has been going on for 114 years. Tata Chemicals Magadi produces between 350 to 400,000 tons a year. The soda ash is exported through Mombasa. Therefore, it has 1 to 2 trains departing daily from Mombasa. Tata Chemicals Magadi accounts for less than 1% of global production. However, the soda ash produced at Magadi is considered special primarily because it is naturally occurring, making it more environmentally sustainable and purer than synthetic soda ash. At a time when there is uncertainty in global trade, it helps to keep this factory running in Africa.
So it's very good to kuja and visit it for yourself, yeah? Or at least for me. I know this is not a place that's open to the public. But sasa nimetoa ignorance kwa sababu nilikuwa nafikiria hapa ni mambo ya chumvi. But apparently, actually, the fact is wanna produce soda ash. And the process is quite complex. Tumeelezea hapo lakini sidhani nimeelewa everything. But najua wanaimine, wanaisafisha, wanaichoma, wanaiseparate, wanafanya some other processes and functions and everything, and eventually they make us #1 in Africa because we are the only ones who produce soda ash naturally, and we provide it to most African countries as well as Middle East and parts of Europe. If that kama hiyo haitakufanya ujivunie kwa Mkenya, mimi sijui. Yeah? Na hiyo sijaweka chumvi, sijaongeza chumvi. Ni vile iko kwa ground.
And that is why the factory is allowed next to the lake. The process of making soda ash doesn't involve adding any chemicals. Thus, the factory isn't considered a threat to the lake. That doesn't mean that this body is safe. This national treasure's very existence is threatened. Kuna vile hii party inaweza kuisha.
We are facing a lot of silt, which is basically soil, coming 100 kilometers away in Narok to Magadi. And this is being deposited in the lake, covering the Trona.
And how does that affect the... Sini mchanga tu.
Mchanga,
anaweza uliza sini mchanga.
Lakini mchanga haiwezi tumika kutengeneza glass. Ifaa ukiangalia mchanga na hii, unaona hii imekaa kama glass. Lakini mchanga ni mchanga tu. Sasa hiyo inaleta shida katika ile hali ya ubora wa kutengeneza magadi.
Over the years, there has been a buildup of silt into the lake. Since the lake isn't deep, the sand has been quickly covering up large sections that used to have water and Trona. It got so bad that something exceptional started happening. Instead of Trona growing on the lake surface, it was vegetation. This was bad as this change was starting to become permanent. The springs that used to feed the lake were also covered and stopped. While winds would pick up the dust and spread it over the lake. Sitting at the bottom part of the Rift Valley has turned out also to be a curse, as all this silt and debris from the highlands ends up here. Magadi looked doomed as there seemed no immediate way to stop the silt. The factory that had withstood a century of existence now faced its greatest threat: environmental degradation and climate change.
What are the measures that are going, that have been taken to protect
We have tried as a company to take our own measures here. First of all, to make sure that our processes are environmentally friendly. We don't introduce any chemicals into our process. So whatever we take out of the lake, we just return the liquor, what you see from here, going back in liquor, because it's already rich in salts. So you take it back to the lake. But in terms of what the guys can be able to do up there, of course, stop the poor agricultural practices. People have to do terracing when you do farming. Of course, planting of trees, which everybody can be able to do, and the government is trying to.
And I've seen
that
you have
we have a tree nursery, about 70,000 tree seedlings ready for planting, and we help out.
Even with the neighboring counties?
We distribute. We distribute to even the institutions here, schools, hospitals, the county government, and anybody who is interested in partnering.
Tata Chemicals Magadi undertook an ambitious and expensive measure to try and stop the silt by building dikes upstream. So far, it seems to be working, as this siltation has stopped. There is hope for now. Some of the springs that feed the lake have been rejuvenated and water is flowing again. Lakini, we are, however, not out of the woods yet. We need to protect the areas upstream.
This issue of burning charcoal, it's really a problem that contributes to soil erosion. Overgrazing, if you are grazing the land, so a lot of livestock in one piece of land, that leads to the land becomes bare, and then when it rains, the water just runs. Because whatever has happened now upstream there has already happened, and now it's coming here. And then of course, through partners, we can be able to try and do check dams to control the soil from coming all the way, and help it, and even grow grass by broadcasting grass, and be able to regrow grass there, and planting of trees.
Sasa kuna vile a certain body seems to have foreseen the siltation centuries ago and decided to take measures into its own hands.
So nataka kuonesha mahali pengine Magadi hapa ambapo wamejificha, na hata watu wenyewe wa Magadi hawajui sana. Very exclusive. In fact, hata jina yenyewe inaitwa Naisikie Eng'ida. Naisikie Eng'ida.
Naisikie Eng'ida.
Yes, in the local language.
Naisikie Eng'ida.
Naisikie Eng'ida.
Oh, Naisikie Eng'ida.
Yes.
Oh, ni kama nasikia Eng'ida.
Ni kama nasikia Eng'ida.
Ama nasikia ingine.
Yes, nasikia ingine. So, basically inamaanisha mahali ni kama imejitenga kwa sababu ya pride. Yes.
So it's a place that oh really?
Yes.
Imejitenga because of
pride. So it's proud that it's sitting on its own.
On its own.
Yes. Because it's separate from the main lake.
Yes.
So it sits on its own.
Yeah.
Almost with a different ecosystem.
When you say separate itself, does it mean that there was a time it was all one?
Probably, because the other one is a Trona lake.
Yeah.
And this is a real lake with water.
Oh yes.
With
someone said it's a solid lake.
Yes, that one is a solid lake with a Trona crust, and this one has water, which is
wow.
It's beautiful, very nice, very beautiful.
Enyewe, this country is beautiful.
It sits on its own, like imeka. Peke yake tu. You can see the other one it's not connected. It's almost separated at that point. It's hardly separated by 100 meters. And here, it's almost 200 meters. What is separating the two? Two different lakes. In a way.
This one is also salty.
Yes, it's alkaline. Exactly, it's alkaline.
Okay.
It's also flamingos. You can see flamingos. Very nice, very beautiful. In fact, for like boat riding, this could be a place. Very good, very nice.
This lake is so remote that there isn't a proper road to this side.
This is still Kenya.
It is. This is still Kenya. This side is where you have about 40 kilometers from here. You go to Tanzania. Say about 50 now because we've come about 10 kilometers. The border of Tanzania. Naisikie Eng'ida.
Kajiado, you are full of surprises. Yani hata hii bado iko hapa kwenyu.
Your day has come. Shy. The place is very pretty, it's very beautiful, untouched. Listen to this. Mwah.
Next week, we are going towards Nguruman and get to experience one of my best sunsets in Kajiado.